Hi everyone, it's me, your English language teacher, Ayusha. How are you today? In our previous video, I explained you the simple present tense, how the simple present tense can be used, and the affirmative, the negative, and the interrogative sentence can be made. Today we'll talk about the adverbs, how the adverbs can be used in the simple present tense. Adverb. The first thing we should know, what is adverb? If you look at the word adverb, if I put my hands over here, what it says word means word. Adverb means a word that modifies a verb, we call the adverb. This is the definition of adverb. A word that modifies word, an adjective, or another adverb. This is the definition of adverb. And how we can use the adverb in the present simple? Adverb. These are the adverbs which will be used in the present simple. In other words, we call this the frequency of adverb. For instance, if you use always, it's been 100%, 80%, 60%, 40%, and 10%. These we call the frequency of adverb. If you use always, mean when doing the same thing for 100%, usually 80%, sometimes 60%, often 40%, and never almost 10, almost nothing we use. Now the question, if we have got the adverbs in the question, in the answer you have to have the adverb. These are the rules, means the grammars should be followed by each other person who wants to speak the language. For instance, do you always wake up early? In the question, we have got the adverbs. In the answer, either you say yes or either you say no. You have to have the adverb. Now you say yes. Now you answer the question in the yes in the affirmative. Yes, then the same adverb should be used in the answer. Because do you always wake up early? Yes, I always wake up early. If you say no, you make a negative statement, then you no. Once you say no, mean the negative statement is gonna come. You're gonna go for the negative statement. Then no, then it means you deny always. Now it's all up to you. What do you use it? Except always. Then you say, for instance, you say no, I sometimes wake up early. So it means these are the frequency of error, and the rules for making the interrogative in present simple, do and does are the same with the I, we, you, they, or either the plural noun. We always use do, I, do, we, do you, do they, or do Mark and John. And for the third person singular, we always use does for making the interrogative sentence. So these are we have got many adverbs in English language, but these are the adverbs usually used in the present simple, and these are the frequency of adverbs. And if you want to make the negative, for instance, totally negative, you say no. For instance, I ask you, does he always smoke? Because rules, once you get the adverb in the question and the answer, you have to have the adverb. For instance, person asks you question, does he always smoke? You want to make it totally negative sentence. Then, or you have to say, no, he never smokes. But these rules should be the same like we had before. So he never means he never smoked, because never we always use for the negative sentence. Anytime when you get the adverb in the question, or you want to make the totally negative, then the answer you want to make the negative, then you use never. You can use he doesn't smoke. It's incorrect. Why? We have got the adverb in the question. And if you get the adverb in the question, you want to make the negative sentence, then you should use never. And then the rest of the rules are the same, that never smokes, because with the third person singular, we always use either the base form of verb in the S or ES. Then he never smoked. Even if you say he never smoked, it's incorrect, because you haven't got the rules. Never smoke. So these are the rules should be learned, should be used. Either you have to write something or you have to talk with the person. Now let's go to the next. We have how much? How many? And we have how often. Terrific. How much we use for the uncountable now. Okay, how much, how many, how often. How many, how much we always use for the uncountable noun. We get two types of nouns in English language. When we call the countable, we call the uncountable. Uncountable means the noun that cannot be counted. Countable means the noun that can be counted. So anytime when you use how much, it should be used with the uncountable noun. For instance, we have air, we have waters, we have sleep. These are like uncountable nouns. For the countable noun, like work, studies, how hours, these are the things we should use for the countable. For instance, how much sleep do we need in 24 hours? Sleep is a noun, but it's uncountable noun. That's why we use how much. You cannot use how many. Why? Because sleep is uncountable noun. Then we have to have by the rules, how much should be used. So how much sleep do we need in 24 hours? We need, the answer will be we need 6 to 8 hours. We need 6 to 8 hours sleep in 24 hours. If you want to make complete sentence, so we need 6 to 8 hours sleep in 24 hours. Now, how many? How many hours do you study? How many hours do you study? Hours is noun, but it's countable now. We can count the hours: 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. It's countable now. So how many hours do you study? The answer will be I study 2 hours. I study 2 hours. So hours are countable noun. So we have to have, we use how many. You can use how much. Why? Because how much we use for the uncountable noun, how many we always use for the countable. How many we use for the countable noun. Okay, now how often? If, for instance, how often? How often do you take English language class? Now you take the English class once a day, either you say, or you say once a week, whatever it is, once a month. So if you do something, some work, just one time, we use once. If you do something 2 times, we always use twice. And the rest of we have 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times, whatever. For instance, how often do you take English class? I take English class once a week. Once a week. In a week, you take this one class. Twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week. These are the answers. For instance, one more, I'll give you one more answer. How often do Christians celebrate Christmas? Answer would be they once in a year. They celebrate Christmas once in a year. Means it's happened just one time in the whole year. So you have to say, how often do Christians celebrate Christmas? The answer would be, if something happened one time, you should say once. 2 times, you always use twice. These are the rules should be followed. You can't say 2 times. Once for 1 time, twice for 2 times, and the rest of the time, what are you going? 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, it should be used in the answer. So the same. How often do Christians celebrate Christmas? They celebrate Christmas once a year. So today we talked about the adverb. What is an adverb? The word that modifies a verb, an adjective, and another adverb. These are the definition of the adverb. Then I show you the frequency of the adverb. The second we did the how much used for the countable noun, uncountable noun. How many we always use for the countable noun. Uncountable noun means the noun that cannot be counted. We can't count them. For instance, decorum, the wisdom, sleep. There are so many things. How many we always use for the countable noun? The noun that can be counted. You can count it. And how often? And you use how often? And the answer is one time we use once, two times we use twice, and the rest of the time we always use time. So it was all about the present simple tense. One more time, once again. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Take care of yourself.